the people of Mecca, the leaders, they went to visit Abu Talib. Abu Talib called his nephew Muhammad and told him, "Oh my son, these people, they're stressing me out. They're pressuring me. They want you to leave this da'wah, this nubuwah that you are claiming that you are a prophet. Please stop it." And the answer of the Prophet was very clear. In a very famous statement, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, that if they were to give me the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left hand, meaning if they were to give me anything they want in this world, I will never give up this call. I will never give up this da'wah. So for the next few years, it is going to be very difficult for the Prophet ﷺ. Not only for him, it will also be difficult for those few people who started believing in him. There were Abu Bakr, there were Uthman, there were Zayd, there were Bilal. And what was happening is that the people of Mecca, they started torturing them. They started making life very difficult for them. So these 6 years to come, in the Nubuwah, in the revelation, were the most difficult years of the Prophet ﷺ. And they were the most difficult years of Islam in general. If we take the example of Bilal ibn Rabah, Bilal had a master, he had an owner, because he was a slave. But when he heard the message, he accepted the message of Islam. So his master, his owner, Umayyah bin Khalaf, he was the owner of Bilal. What he decided was, I'm going to take Bilal, take him in the middle of the desert, where it is very, very hot, and lay him on the ground, half naked, and take a big rock, put it on his chest. And what was he telling Bilal? I want you to leave Islam. Whipping Bilal, whipping him, hurting him, torturing him. But Bilal kept saying the famous statement, Ahadun, Ahad, Ahadun, Ahad. Allah is one, Allah is one. It was then that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, when he saw the scene, he came running and he had a pouch filled with money. And he told Umayyah bin Khalaf that I want to buy him from you. He said, what do you want this slave for? He's of no good to me. You can take him. So he bought him, bought his freedom, and Bilal now was with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Another case of torture, just to show you how general it was and how difficult it was for the companions of the Prophet ﷺ in the beginning. Another example is Ammar bin Yasir. Ammar bin Yasir and his father Yasir and his mother Sumayya. It's a very famous name that you hear, Sumayya. This family were the first martyrs, the first ones to be killed in Islam. Ammar bin Yasir, when they caught him, they were torturing him. They were torturing his father. His father was killed in front of his eyes. His mother, they put the mother down and split her. And they took a dagger, a spear, and right in the middle. This is what they were going through, just for being Muslims. Muhammad ﷺ, when he came by and he saw that the family of Ammar bin Yasir, were being tortured, he told him, "Fasbir, ya Ahl Yasir, inna maw'idukum al-Jannah." He said to them, "Be patient, O family of Ammar. Our appointment is Al-Jannah. No matter what you go through right now, I have given you an appointment and we will meet in Jannah." This is what they were going through. So the Prophet ﷺ, in the beginning, knowing that these weak people, these former slaves, these poor people were being taken advantage of by their masters, by the rich, and by the elders of Mecca, he said, now we are going to hide in Darul Arqam. We talked about this Islamic center. So when we talk about Islamic centers today, Masajid, the very first Islamic center was Darul Arqam. This is where they used to gather at night. This is where he used to bring the few companions who believed in him and started teaching them about Islam. On the sixth year, going through all this torture, then the Prophet ﷺ, he advised them to go to Abyssinia, the first migration. So in Abyssinia itself, there were two migrations. It's not just one. There were two migrations. On the fifth year, there was a small migration. About 12 men and 4 women went to the first migration to Abyssinia, Ethiopia. The following year, it was the bigger migration. When we talk about the migration to Ethiopia, this is the one we are referring to the most. Why? Because it was a larger crowd. 83 people. It is said 83 people migrated, 83 men and 9 women in the second migration. They migrated from Mecca to Habasha. So the first time Islam had strength, the first time Islam had a little bit of power, it is because they went to Ethiopia. This is where they were protected by the king known as Najashi, and we talked about this. Who was the leader of this delegation, or who spoke in front of this delegation? It was one of the companions who was also the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ. He spoke and he recited Surah Maryam. When he recited Surah Maryam, Najashi himself, he started crying. He started weeping. Tears were falling. Those who were around him, they were also the leaders. They started crying, and immediately they believed in Islam. I will close with another point, which was a very difficult time during the beginning of the Nubuwah, during the beginning of the revelation, and this was the boycott. There was a boycott that was implemented on the Muslims, a boycott that was implemented on the Prophet ﷺ, his family, and those who believed in him. It was a very difficult boycott. It was very hard on them. What the Christians, what the polytheists, what the Meccans had done was to gather all these believers and then separate them, took them out of Mecca in the desert, and they boycotted them. They surrounded them, and they said nobody will do business with them. Do not sell them anything. If they come to you and buy, do not buy anything from them. Do not sell anything to them. And this boycott went on for some time until a very prominent person, until someone very close to the Prophet, someone very dear to the Prophet ﷺ, died during this boycott. Tomorrow we will find out who that person was. It is time for Salah. We stand up and make Salah, inshallah.